Oh, that's nice. So those of you who have not got a Neo Espresso machine really should think about investing in one, because it does make superb coffee. It's that time of the day when I've just sat down and I'm having a coffee and a really nice cookie, but you haven't come here to listen to me talk about drinking coffee and eating cookies. So you find me this morning, it's not this morning, it's actually this afternoon, but you find me today playing two of what I think are the best keyboards in the world. And the reason I say that is because I'm biased, and I can say whatever I damn well like about these keyboards, because I still think they are superb. This one here, for those of you who don't recognise this keyboard, is the Korg M1. It is probably the better part of now 30 years old, and it's still in absolutely superb condition, and it has that first unmistakable sound of Universe, patch 1, bank 1, M1. It was the first factory sound and the one that everybody played. It's like Fantasia on the D50. You know, first patch you loaded up was Fantasia. First patch you loaded up on here was the Universe, and then where are we going? And of course you've got unmistakable piano sound, which managed to appear on every single dance record, probably from the late 80s to the mid 90s. So that's my Korg M1, and below it is what I think is probably the best keyboard in the world at the moment, which is the Kronos 2, which I just think is superb. I've owned many keyboards. I own a JP80 over here, and I would never knock my JP80 because I think that keyboard is absolutely superb as well. But this one is better. Why is it better? Well, for me, and this is my opinion, there's nobody else's opinion, but for me, the Kronos 2 is an 88 key keyboard. It's fully weighted. I get a lot of feeling from the keys on the keyboard. I seem to be able to play with sounds on it like I've never been able to play with sounds on other keyboards. You know, it's just lots of things in there that just weigh up to make it a phenomenal beast. It's also an utter bitch with the amount of knobs and faders that you have to sort of align and work your way through. But having said that, it's a phenomenal keyboard. So this is my Korg stack, and it actually brings me on to the first sort of topic of the day, really, and that is that those of you who are wedded to the Korg site will know that Korg on Friday, yes, 26th, 25th, Friday, released the latest OS patch for this beastie. Now, I haven't put the patch on mine at the moment, purely because I haven't had time. But I did go through the literature to just sort of look at was there anything that was compelling and a reason why I put things on or update this keyboard. Now, there are always going to be people out there that as soon as a new piece of software or a new anything new arrives, will be the first in the queue to download and upgrade the equipment. Now, I sit on this fence, which is, I think you should always operate on the latest OS of especially keyboards, etc., because they introduce new functionality and bugs and other such stuff. They don't introduce bugs, sorry, they fix bugs when these things are released. Now, the issue is that what else do they give you when you do an upgrade? Is there a compelling reason to upgrade? Now, I work in the software industry, okay? So that's where my day job is. I work in software development. And one of the things that I'm always telling the clients that my company has is don't necessarily upgrade unless there's a compelling reason to do so. So quite often if you have a bug with the system, you go to the manufacturer say, have you got the latest operating system or the latest version of the software? You say no, first words that come out of their mouths is, get it. which is easier said than done in a large corporate, because that normally involves quite a big rollout phase. However, when you're looking at the keyboard, yes, you don't have quite as big a rollout. However, you should still probably approach it in the same way. So the way I approach it is I always look at, is there a compelling reason for me to upgrade now, or can I upgrade when I get around to it? So this is how I work with this. So the first thing I will do is I would get the patch notes, if you like, or the latest OS notes, and I will read through what new features do I get, if I get any, because quite often you get releases where you get no new features, they're just bug releases. What bugs are they fixing, and do I care? And I really use that do I care, because quite often the bugs that they are fixing I ain't come across. You know, somebody has obviously come across it, somebody has made a thing about it, they've recognised it's a bug in the software and they're fixing it. But if I don't care about it, then it's meaningless to me. So using that logic, and I have to refer to my notes on this because I can't remember it off the top of my head. So the latest release is release 3.1.2. And my keyboard is currently running 3.0.4. So 3.0 effectively, so 3.1 is the upgrade. So there's obviously been a number of releases into beta since 3.0.4 to get you up to 3.1.2. Are there any bugs in there that actually I care about? Actually, no. Personally, no, I've read through it. I don't care about any of the bugs, to be honest. However, there are two new features which I'm going to sort of like come across now. So one is support for the Kronos editor, which is a Windows or a Mac based editor which allows you to edit the settings on this beast. I have to again be honest on that, I haven't got it loaded at the moment, but it's something I probably will do in the fullness of time over the coming weeks, load that onto my Mac, and then obviously see what it can give me in terms of how do I change the settings on the beastie. But the one I probably would use quite a lot is what they call the quick layer or quick split feature. Now, what this is designed to do is it's designed to effectively, when you're in a combination or a program mode, to allow you to introduce another sound to that mode without actually having to come out, reprogram and save a new combination. I think that's going to be very, very powerful, especially if you're a gigging keyboard player and you want to, the artist has come up and said, I want this sort of sound, and you've got a stored preset that's almost there, and you can add in another sound to give you the rounding, if you like, or to build up a combination. That I find very, very powerful very quickly. And the way it's described as working is you can either apply that sound to the entire landscape, as in all 88 keys on this thing, or if you're operating one of the smaller versions, 76 or 61, or you can apply it to a zone on the keyboard very, very quickly without having to actually go in, save it, create it, etc. And if you don't like it, you can just reverse it out very quickly. That I find a very powerful feature, especially, as I say, if you're a gigging musician. Probably not so much for me at the moment, but I don't mean that because I'm not playing all the time. What I mean is that I tend to play around with sounds anyway to construct new sounds or construct new combinations. So I think where I would use it is, I think I would use it to take something and just play around with something else, and then when I found it, then maybe go back and make that more formal. So that's the new upgrade for this. So we'll see. I probably won't upgrade it until the end of March, based on what's going on in my other life. I'm really, really busy at the moment, so I'm getting very little time in here to actually sit and do stuff, if you like. The other thing that came across this week was I had a PM on the channel, and the PM was about this beastie down here, the Kronos, and what it was about. And I have actually replied to the individual, so this is just sort of carrying on with that reply, if you like. And what the individual asked me is, can you get a list, or can you search to give you all the programs that use a certain search engine? Now, I thought about this quite a lot, and I came to the conclusion you can't. Or should I say, I came to the conclusion that I can't think of how you can do it without creating effectively a new area on the keyboard, and then moving all those sounds into that area from where they currently reside, which is a very manual thing. And I think what the individual was asking me is could it be done automatically? As in, could you, click on the EP1 engine and see everything from the EP1 that is using the EP1 engine? And I think where the confusion has come from is from this screen that was touted. Now, I saw this screen a lot when I was thinking about buying the Kronos. Okay, it's in a lot of the marketing material, on a lot of the websites, they show this screen. And what this particular screen looks like is, it looks like it's taken from here. As in, that would have been there. That's what it looks like. It looks very much like a Kronos screen. And it sort of gives the impression that what you do is you press one of these icons and it will take you through into the engine itself, or to the sound underneath the engine. Now, I have to be honest and say, I have never seen this screen on my Kronos 2. So I've had this keyboard for about 15 months, I suppose. So in the two OSs that were on this keyboard, and in that 15 months, I've never ever found that screen. Now, whether that screen itself appeared on an earlier version of the Kronos, so the original Kronos or the Kronos X, I can't say, because it has never appeared on my Kronos 2. But I think that's the screen that people are referring to when they ask, can you see sounds by individual engine? Now, the other reason why I think it would be difficult to actually show that anyway is because a number of the sounds are actually not pure. And what I mean by that is they are actually generated by two or more of the engines to give you that sound. And therefore, how would you categorize the sound in terms of the engine itself if you were to search by the engine? No, I mean, you could sort of turn around and say, well, okay, I want to see every sound that uses the engine. Fair enough. But then you would get sounds that also use another engine, especially where another engine is predominant to the engine you're using. So as in, the first sound is the dominant sound, and the second sound that's generated is a fill or a landscape or a soundscape type sound. So I can't think honestly how to do that. Because I can't think how to do it, I'm inclined to say I don't think it can be done. But some bright boffin at Korg might be able to sort of say, yeah, but you just do, But that's me. So hopefully I've answered your question. I'm sorry I can't give you the answer you wanted, but sometimes that's where we are. And the last thing I'm going to pick up today is, last week I sat in front of my brand new Midi enclosure and said, this is how I'm going to solve my problem. I actually hoped to have that Midi enclosure up and running before today, and I haven't, and there's a couple of reasons why I haven't had it up and running before today. The first is I didn't order the patch cables for it. That was a pure oversight on my behalf. I thought I'd gone in and ordered the patch cables, and I hadn't, and they haven't been dispatched yet because I only ordered them this morning. So that was me being a complete plum. So I apologise for that. And the second thing that came up, and a number of people have said, is how are you actually going to wire it up? Well, I'll actually show you that. I'll actually do a video and I'll show you how I'm wiring it up, just so that you can understand what it is I'm trying to achieve with the damn thing. Now the patch cables hopefully should be here this week. I will then be able to sit down and spend some time actually putting patch cables in there so it can be wired up and actually installed. So when I do that, I will show you how I've done it, and hopefully other people will be able to take some sort of inspiration is the wrong word, but we'll take some lessons from how I'm doing it to be able to create their own environment for doing this. Now, I go back to the thing about legacy equipment. We've all got it. You have to control it. It doesn't have USB, so you have to come up with some solution to allow you to do it, and to do it easily. Anything that you are required to go behind the keyboard and start unplugging and plugging things in is a bad solution. Okay, you need, in a studio where you're working, you need those connections, if you like, in front of you, so it's an easy, I need to connect that to make this work. As I say, if you have to go behind things and start unplugging wires, then you've got a bad solution. You need to think about how you need to change that so that the connection is actually in front of the keyboards, or in front of you, so you can actually do that. Anyway, I've ranted for long enough today. I'm going to go back to my coffee and my cookie, and I'm going to let you go back to your Sunday. Take care till next week. Bye bye.